enjoyed with various heads of state and various countries around the world. Russia, one in particular, because of the BRICS and obviously the relationship, the warm relationship he enjoys with Vladimir Putin. And then England and Germany. But joining us now in studio is political analyst Susan Booysen. Thank you very much for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Peter.
Perhaps your first reaction in terms of what we've heard from the ANC today. They had a difficult NEC meeting, I would imagine, 13 hours of it, trips in the middle of the night to the presidency and coming back. Were the right things said this afternoon by the Secretary General?
It was such a fascinating media briefing, and I was observing it while it was unfolding there. And there was a few things, right things, appropriate things, inappropriate in the sense that the ANC at this stage really wants to project that this is a new entity, a reinvigorated, on a way of shading and dealing with some of what had gone wrong in ANC in the past, and it also has a name, that is President Jacob Zuma, that there was a momentum they should have wanted to illustrate momentum going forward. This new entity is taking shape, and yet there were so many contradictory signals at this conference. Ace Magashule, if I were Cyril Ramaphosa, I would have thought, what on earth is going on there? Because on the one hand, it was, yes, we had the NEC meeting, and Jacob Zuma reminds us he's a disciplined member of the ANC, etc. But then we have in the message, but there is not really a deadline, whereas the rest, the speculation around the country is that there's a 48-hour deadline. And then when he was specifically challenged on the point, but in line with some of the public narratives, what did Zuma do wrong? He did not go and in this new ANC style say there were issues of corruption and capture and that should be addressed. He had no answer to give when it was on that. He was trying to brush over many of the very, very important issues. Was that the
ANC position or was that the Ace Magashule position that was coming through?
The ANC of today is still that alliance of two relatively hostile, mostly hostile factions. And a new ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa and others are trying to give traction to a new ANC like that. So it's difficult to say that it was the ANC or Ace Magashule. Ace Magashule definitely came across in his hesitations and his silences as part of the defeated part of the ANC. There was so much space at this media briefing for them to position this new entity, but he did not use that. And in that, I have to say, if it is your choice, that was Ace Magashule coming across, who could not brand this new ANC with conviction.
So what happens tomorrow? Do you think that Jacob Zuma will become the first person in the history of the ANC to defy the party? Or do you think, and as the ANC hopes, because that will solve all their problems,
yes,
that he will respond and say, I'm a disciplined cadre and I'm going to resign?
The whole of the country, including me, hopes we have that answer. We could have had that answer. There are indications that Ace Magashule and the ANC expect that Zuma will take that step. And one of the reasons I say that Ace Magashule would not cross that bridge in this media briefing of addressing the issue of a motion of no confidence, whereas from other sources we know that a motion of confidence will be introduced if Zuma defies them, and by all indications it will be carried by a healthy majority of ANC MPs in a parliamentary caucus there. So it could very well be that Zuma keeps on defying. If he stops defying the ANC, that would be something totally different, a conversion from what he has been doing in the last 2 months. So he needs to show still that he is prepared actually to be that disciplined cadre and member of the ANC. Ace Magashule reminded the audience there that Zuma said, but he wishes, he is a disciplined member, but he wishes there would still be consideration of this bizarre extension of the term thing.
I still am not convinced, and perhaps you can convince me, but I can't see him purposefully wanting to destroy the ANC, because if he doesn't resign, a whole line of catastrophic chain of events will play out. This man has given his entire life to this party. Why would he at the last moment want to do anything that could possibly harm the movement that he's loved for so long?
I agree with the tragedy that you express in that sentiment, the tragedy of Jacob Zuma, and why would he go that different route? But I also see the way he has behaved in the last decade or so, the best part of his term in office, dual office, President ANC in South Africa, that he did so much that was in his own personal interest, that he so frequently did not consider the interests of the ANC in that process at all. And for me, that question then arises, why would he now act differently? Because he faces that last hurdle. There is no, he cannot regain dignity, maybe of respect, but he cannot regain dignity, and he cannot build a whole desirable legacy in a space of a few minutes of offering that resignation. So he hasn't got much to lose by still continuing to challenge and persevere in that challenge of the ANC. And remember, too, he doesn't see the current ANC as his ANC. His construct was defeated in December last year. So he does not, I don't think really sees it as disloyalty anymore to be defying this new victorious ANC. And so I think that is actually a very, very dangerous president that maybe will resign, maybe not. And if he does not, he pushes the ANC in an inconvenient position, because that would require a motion of no confidence, even if the ANC is relatively guaranteed to carry that. But that motion will mean the whole cabinet, Cyril, also Ramaphosa as deputy president, doesn't automatically take over as acting and then so easily be elected as the new president. There will be a delay, there will be some disruption there. And in the process, I think this is also a phase of the revenge of Jacob Zuma, what we see unfolding over these days, because he's managing to make Cyril Ramaphosa hesitant, reluctant to act, and in some respects weak.
All right, we'll talk about that revenge story, and also if he doesn't feel a sense of betrayal by some of the people who seemingly have crossed the line. Okay, yes. We'll carry on with our chat shortly. But you can imagine